is your dating hot take?
I think it's a red flag if you're dating a man who hasn't openly explored being gay.
I love a man with a little gay allegation.
I think I've had enough internet for the day, y'all. I'm out.
Come on, man.
What's good, everybody? It is your man, the Todd voice, back here with another YouTube video. We're talking about red flags today, man. Everybody is a damn red flag now. You don't text back fast enough, you're a red flag. You text too much, you're a red flag. You're too close to your family, you're a red flag. You're not close enough to your family, you're a red flag. You know, people then figure, oh, something must have happened to you. You've been married twice, you're a red flag. You've never been married, you're a red flag. At this point, I don't know how you're supposed to get a date. And look, I'm not saying that red flags aren't real. They absolutely are, of course. If somebody's lying to you or disrespecting to you or trying to control you, that is a red flag. Hide major parts of their life or, or can't keep their story straight, that's a red flag. If they've got addiction issues or everybody that they used to date was the problem, that is a red flag. But you got to really pay attention, and you can't let attraction take you out of common sense. But at the same time, not everything is a red flag. Sometimes you just met a perfectly irregular human being. I think that we've gotten just a little bit crazy with this about love bombing and learning about narcissists, attachment styles, avoidance, trauma, toxic relationships, and there's gaslighting and boundaries and all that information is good. A lot of us would have saved ourselves years of heartache knowing this beforehand. But now it seems that now that we've learned 6 psychology words off of TikTok, everybody's a certified therapist now. If somebody doesn't answer your text within 5 hours, they're emotionally unavailable. And never thinking about, maybe they were at the gym or maybe they were asleep or maybe their phone was in the car or maybe they just don't know you yet and are trying to figure this thing out. And I think it even gets more complicated after 50, but that's a whole nother story. Especially when you've been through some things, lost money, lost relationships, lost a family or a spouse. And a lot of people, guys are under, I'm protecting my peace, and which I can understand. But are you protecting your peace, or are you really just trying to keep yourself from being vulnerable again? And I do get it, because especially at this age, you don't want to play those games. And like I said in the videos before, so when anybody comes into your life and it looks like it's gonna mess up your peace, you kind of peace out with that one. And we all know, like I said before, relationships are going to mess up your routine a little bit. You got to make room for another person. But every time that you meet somebody new, you can't just automatically say that that quality is toxic. And with all this, I say good luck to what you can find. You can't find a perfect person that doesn't have flaws. It just doesn't work that way. We all have flaws. You've got them, I've got them. But the question kind of is, can you live with these flaws, or these flaws that you can deal with? Because, sometimes it takes people a little bit of time to get comfortable. You get so used to swiping that it just becomes the easiest thing to do to get rid of somebody. So once again, I'm calling on you all to help me understand. So let's watch some videos.
What is your dating hot take?
I think it's a red flag if you're dating a man who hasn't openly explored being gay.
I love a man with a little gay allegation.
With a little sweetness to him. They're doing it in private, and shame is an awful tool as long as you've explored it or tried it even once. Dip your toe in.
See how it is.
The water's fine. Happy Pride.
Just putting this out there, every woman I've spoken to in real life that want their man to have a little sweetness to him have been abused by a man in the past. They were abused by a masculine man that made them kind of terrified of masculinity. So now they're still attracted to men, but they just want a very feminine presenting man. Because femininity is where they feel all safe and cozy. Masculinity still scares them a little bit. These women need therapy, not a date. Because actually healed heterosexual women, hetero meaning other or opposite, recognize the dynamic in relationship. I am the feminine, you are the masculine. I bring the softness and the sweetness, you bring the strength and the leadership. You see how there's that back and forth? We're attracted to that. We like that. The ones that don't either need therapy or need to realize that they're gay.
Number 1, I love her hair. That looks gorgeous. Number 2, what the hell are they talking about? I ain't never beat nobody, and I ain't never tried to get no dude's pants. 100% they're out of their mind when it comes to that. I'm cool.
The worst red flags in a woman, part 1. So red flag number 1 is if she blatantly disrespects you. And this is normally one that is going to come out later in time, potentially in a relationship, but some women will give signs to this early on, and you want to be aware of them. So let's rattle off some examples of disrespect. She makes fun of you in front of other people. She doesn't stand up with you as a team. Another one is she rolls her eyes or talks down to you anytime you have an opinion that's different from hers. That's a big one. You can likely spot that early on in the dating phase. Another one is she constantly interrupts and dismisses you before you finish speaking. She insults you during disagreements. She openly flirts with men right in front of you. That's a big one. Repeatedly cancels plans last minute. Or if she says hurtful things that are clearly disrespectful and then she says you're too sensitive or I was just joking. If any of these things happen, you have to move on to the next.
Yeah, all that stuff seems like normal things you wouldn't take from anybody that you were trying to meet. That's pretty much simple.
Here are 3 things that seem flattering but are actually red flags in early dating. The first red flag that seems flattering is when you barely know this person, yet they're wanting to constantly talk to you, constantly be messaging with you, and also they want to see you as much as possible. It's as though they're acting like the world is going to end in 2 weeks and they're trying to see and talk to you as much as possible. This can be a red flag because there can be an agenda here and there truly isn't a reason to rush. Second red flag is when they say extreme things very early on, like, you're the woman I've been looking for. I've never felt this way about somebody before. I can't remember the last time I was ever this happy. Of course, it feels great to hear, but this could put pressure on you to feel like you need to reciprocate it, or for you to go, oh, should I be feeling that way too? Should I be matching his level of enthusiasm?
Yeah, matching the level of enthusiasm would definitely take you off the apps. And who wants to leave the apps or just trying to stay on there and meet more people? So somebody showing you some real love is just crazy nowadays.
How happy he is, and you have to peel it back and remember, okay, I barely know this person, or is this proportionate to how much time we've spent together and how much I actually know about this person? The third red flag is when very early on he's saying, I've taken myself off the dating apps, I'm not going to see anybody else, and it feels like he's almost pressuring you into being exclusive when it actually doesn't make sense for you to take that step yet. This is a red flag for you if you are intentionally dating and you want to make sure that you are attracting a healthy relationship, because you owe it to yourself to take your time to get to know somebody while also keeping your options open before you fully have had the time to understand if you're compatible with this person and if they could actually be a life partner with you.
Well, I thought this was common sense for all of the men out there, but apparently it's not. So let me just explain something to you. If you are in the dating stages of a relationship or you're trying to get to know a woman, if you text her about plans that you have and she doesn't text you back right away, or within like 30 minutes of you sending a text message, like, she's probably not interested. I just heard a man on this app talk about the dating scene and how this woman didn't answer him for 7 hours. Like, he texted her about plans that they have for the next day and she did not respond for 7 hours. No one in the world, I promise you, is going 7 hours without being on their phone. Period. Point blank.
That's
but
true.
not only that, if you say good morning and in the off chance that she's sleeping until noon, like, she's not interested. I promise you that when a woman is interested in you and like wants to get to know you, she's excited about dating you. She's excited about talking to you on the phone. She's excited about like texting a lot and getting to know you. If she is going hours without any type of communication, like, that is a red flag.
Look at some of these comments. Correct. Nobody is that busy. That's what I'm saying. If they really wanted to talk to you, they talk to you. The other options didn't come through, probably. Yep, move on. 100%. 7 hours is because she is with someone else. Don't know if that's true, but it could be.
On a date last night with a man who was genuinely the biggest red flag I've ever seen in my entire life. First up, we made plans to get ice cream. That's great. That's chill. That's casual. I love an ice cream date. He asked me to tell him when I was on the way, so I did. And then he proceeded to be 10 to 15 minutes late meeting me there. That's fine, but like, I don't love having to like stand outside and look awkward, you know, that's uncomfy. We get in line and we start making small talk, you know, it's a good vibe, we're bantering, it's fine. He smelled so strongly of cologne, like, it was kind of making my eyes water. So that was just like something to note. I mentioned, oh, I'm glad we came here because there's dairy-free flavors, I'm vegan. He's like, do you know where I'm from? No, sir, we've exchanged like 5 messages on Hinge. I don't know where you're from. And I was like, well, I'm from Alabama. Okay, so I think I was supposed to take from that he eats a lot of meat. I don't really know. We get our ice cream. He pays. That's kind. He didn't have to do that. That's nice. We walk out and he just starts walking down Carytown, which is like a street of shops and restaurants and things. And I was like, oh, guess we're going for a walk. Okay. So we start walking. He starts vaping. The entire time this man is vaping, which is just like not for me. And just was like, again, something to note. We talked a little bit about social media because that's my job. And at one point he's like, oh, why, like, that's your job? Like, a 12-year-old could do that. Okay, sure, just defend my whole line of work, my career. Great, thank you so much. So I was like, well, I also, have my own platforms and I do my own channels and things. Like, well, what do you do on those? Do you TikTok dances? And I was like, no, I talk about books and reading. He's like, oh, I don't read. He's like, I've never finished a book in my life. This man told me he has never finished a book in his life. That should have been all I needed to just like get on out of there. But we were on a walk and I was like willing to, hear him out. He talked a lot about his roster and how his is precious. So he's very possessive of his women and doesn't want them to be with anybody else when he is with them because it's so sacred to him. But he has a roster and he's not going to give that up because it's just so easy for him to meet women. Like, even when he was in Kroger the other day, he's like telling me this whole story about how he asked some woman in a blue shirt where's the bathroom, and then somehow he got her number. Unsure. I kind of missed some of the plot points along the way, but like, it's just so easy for him to date. Anyway, we keep walking. He's like, I need to show you my car. And I was like, okay. We get to his car and he's offended that I don't know what it is. It's an Aston Martin. I couldn't figure out what. He was like, James Bond. I was like, I read books. I don't know. I didn't know what an Aston Martin looked like. I'm sorry. He wants to take me on a drive. I'm stupid and I say, okay, sure. Let's go for a drive. I was like, are you going to kidnap me? Can murder me? He's like, no. It's like, okay. I don't know. I was trying to go with the flow. I'm trying. I made not the best choice. Couldn't figure out how to get the car door open. He comes over and opens it. And then he's like, what's in your back pocket? You need to check so your fat ass doesn't rip my leather seats. Okay, why my ass sat on those seats after he said that, I do not know.
Yeah, why'd you stay?
But just at every turn, this man was like, oh, have you ever been with anybody that's Middle Eastern? Because my family's from Kuwait. And I was like, oh, no, I haven't. Like, I've dated all different kinds of people. And he's like, oh, well, you're in for a wild ride and not just in the bedroom.
Now let's look at some of the comments here. I'm sorry, but I would have no idea what an Aston Martin is from B. I can understand that. OMG, I see the Aston Martin everywhere. It ricks, yikes. Why? I don't get that. Friend, you have 15 chances. You gave him 15 chances. You are worth more than this. Absolutely. Like, that's what I'm wondering. Why was she still there? He insulted you so many times. Please learn to walk away from these situations. You got to understand the real red flags. That's true. Sis, I gasped at the leather seats comments. Okay. So it's going to be a bunch of I understands. And I understand because that was just silly. Don't hang around for nothing like that and get off the online dating, people.
One of the biggest red flags when I am on a dating app or dating in general, whether I'm texting the person or it's on a dating app, if I don't get back to you right away because I am, let's say, working because I have a career, shocker, sorry, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry because how else am I going to support myself? I am single. Yes, I have my own life and career. If you get angry because I did not respond to you, immediate unmatch. That is such a sign and like a red flag, a blaring red flag in my face that you are controlling. So you're being unmatched. Like, if you don't have the patience or the respect for my time to be like, oh, she must be busy, she's working, or she has a life. I was helping 2 friends today after work. I literally got off work and I got 2 phone calls back to back, 2 friends that were in serious crises needing help. Sorry, I am not glued to my Bumble app.
Yeah, this sounds like it's a personal thing that just happened. Like, this seems fresh on her face right now, which I can totally understand. It happens to some people. And let's look at some of these comments. Been 3 weeks. Should I keep waiting? How busy is considered busy? I excel mightily at this test because texting, when it comes to newly courting, should always be like tennis. You send the text, then send one back. If I got the ball to you, we'll simply wait for the ball to get back to me. I'm certainly not going to hit you another ball laughing my ass off. Never double text. A red flag to me would be having two friends in crisis. I don't need that drama because it sounds way too dramatic. I'm with you on that one. If you've got friends that are running your life like that, then you don't need a man. You just need to be a therapist. And she puts in here, okay, someone was dying. I didn't think that was drama, but okay, yeah, I think that's a lie. I've never understood that reaction for not getting a response right away. My mentality is people are working 9 to 5. Responses are going to be delayed. People respond back when they can. Once it reaches 24 hours, then okay. Some kind of response should have been sent, but during the work week, responses are bound to be delayed. Let's relax and give grace, period. Yeah, that's the whole trick of being on the internet. You're sitting there waiting for somebody's life to calm down before they can talk to you. When you should, and that's going to happen anyway, but just get to know them outside of this. It's just stupid. It's stupid.